are you, my students? Welcome to this April 1920 session. I wish to welcome you to the unit BLA2103, Introduction to Phonology and Phonetics. I'm your lecturer today, Madam Jacqueline Bonareri Arege. Now, I would like to begin by introducing the terminologies, because some of these terminologies, like phonology and phonetics, could be the first time some of us could be hearing them. So to begin with, I would like to define the term phonology. Phonology is the study of speech sounds of a particular language and how these sounds are systematically organized to form utterances. Now, you'll find that all natural languages, languages spoken by human beings, use speech sounds in forming their utterances. And different languages will use different sounds. For example, you'll find that in the sounds used in Kiswahili may not be the same as the sounds used in English. There could be those that are shared, but there are those that are not shared. So when we are talking about phonology, we are now talking about the speech sounds that are used in a particular language. That is to say that every language has its phonology. I'll go ahead to say phonology is the study of sound patterns of a language. As I've said earlier, that languages will have different ways of organizing speech sounds. And I've given an example already that the speech sounds used in English could be different from the speech sounds used in Kiswahili, but then there could be those that are shared and there are those that are different. So as a linguist who is interested in studying phonology, then you are going to look at an individual language, study the sounds that are used in that language, and see how these sounds are organized. What is the pattern that is used such that we have utterances? So I will say that each language has its own phonological system, which includes an inventory of sounds and their features. And certainly, there are rules which specify how these sounds interact. For example, look at the organization of speech sounds in Luo and Ekegusi languages. The way these speech sounds are organized in the two languages is quite different. And that's why we talk about the phonology of each language. The next terminology I would like to explain is phonetics. What is phonetics is a question each one of us is likely to ask ourselves. Remember, the title of our unit is Phonology and Phonetics. So what is phonetics? Now, phonetics is the study of sounds that are utilized in all natural languages. In phonetics, we study all the sounds that are used in all natural languages. In phonology, we study the sound patterns of a particular language. What does this mean? It means that phonology is not as wide as phonetics. And we'll look at the major concerns of phonetics. What is phonetics? What is phonetics concerned about? Phonetics is concerned about three major areas. What are these? These are articulation of sounds. How are the speech sounds produced? When we are talking, when we are speaking, how do we produce these sounds? Number two, we are looking at the physical properties of the sounds. What are these sounds concerned with? And this is going to take a big chunk of this unit. So phonetics can be divided into three, and these are articulatory phonetics. So phonetics, articulatory phonetics deals with the production of the speech sounds. Number two, we have auditory, or sometimes referred to as perceptual phonetics. This is about how do we perceive the sounds. When the sounds are produced, how do we perceive them? And lastly, we have number three, acoustic sounds, acoustic phonetics. This is how these sounds are transmitted into sound waves via the ear. So our focus for this lesson will be on articulatory phonetics. And it's good to remind ourselves that articulatory phonetics is about production of speech sounds. And today we shall focus on the organs of speech production. When we utter, when we speak, there are certainly several organs in our body that enable us to produce these sounds. Now, did you know that more than half of the human body is involved in the production of speech sounds? Maybe yes, but if you didn't, just understand that more than half of your body is used in the production of speech sounds. And we have three basic systems that are involved in the production of sounds, namely the respiratory system, the phonatory system, and the articulatory system. Let's see what the respiratory system comprises. The respiratory system is made up of the lungs, the bronchial tubes, and the windpipe. So if we didn't know that our lungs are important in the production of sounds, then we know today. So is the trachea system as well as the bronchial. Now, these are involved in the breathing system, which controls how the air flows. As we are going to see later in one of our lectures, we'll find that some sounds are produced when air is inhaled into the lungs or when air is exhaled. We shall look at that later. So, for production of sounds to take place properly, the respiratory system ensures that there is sufficient flow of oxygen into and out of the lungs. Without the flow of oxygen into and out of the lungs, then we are not in a position to produce speech sounds. We cannot utter any words. Then the other system that we saw that is important in the production of speech sounds is the phonetory system. What is this phonetory system? The phonetory system consists of the larynx, which is commonly known as the voice box. The front part of the voice box can be observed in male adults and is usually called the Adam's apple. It looks like a projection. So the larynx acts as a valve. Actually, it has been called a safety valve. The function of the larynx is to close off the lungs, partly for the protection, and partly so that the rib cage can be made rigid while the arms exert muscular effort. Then, number 3, we talked about the articulatory system. And the articulatory system consists of 3 organs. These are 1, the nose, 2, the mouth, and especially the tongue. And the teeth are the ones that play a big role in the production of sounds. We also include the ear because the work of the ear is to give us feedback. When I speak, it is your ears that perceive the sounds and therefore give feedback to either the hearer or the listener. Now, we shall look at articulators. In this section, we shall focus on the organs that are used in sound production. Now, vocal organs that are used in the production of speech sounds include the vocal organs, which we use in the production of speech sounds, and these are called articulators. Any organ that we use to produce speech sound is called an articulator. If we are using our teeth, if we are using our tongue, if we are using our lips to produce a particular speech sound, then that is referred to as an articulator. So articulators are those vocal organs that are situated along the vocal tract above the glottis in the space between the vocal cords. So let's look at them. We have the pharynx. This is an organ that is just above the larynx, and it's about 7 centimeters long, interestingly for women, and 8 centimeters long for men. It's only God who knows why this speech organ is of different length between male and female. And it is divided into 2 parts. One part is found at the back of the mouth, and the other part is found at the beginning of the way through the nasal cavity. As we go through this lecture, you have to keep imagining where these organs are. Where is the back of the mouth? Where is the nasal cavity? then that way you'll be able to picture where the organ is. The second organ that we have is the vellum. The vellum is also referred to as the soft palate. What is the function of the vellum? The vellum allows air to pass through the nose and through the mouth. Remember we said earlier that for sounds to be produced well, we need a sufficient flow of air. So the soft palate allows air to go through the nose and then through the mouth. And often in speech, it is raised so that air cannot escape through the nose. Let's look at this small exercise. Let's look at the sound G and say the word get. 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 The other sound is K. Let's say the word kill. Kill. You will notice that the two sounds G and K are produced in the same location. That is the vellum or the soft palate. My students, you have to say these words to yourself loudly so that you can be able to identify where the sounds are produced. The next vocal organ is the hard palate. Where is the hard palate located? The hard palate is actually the roof of your mouth. Lift your tongue up and touch the roof of your mouth. You'll notice that there's also a bony structure there on the front part of your mouth. Again, raise the tip of your mouth. The tip of your tongue. The tip of your tongue is the front part of the tongue. Touch the upper part of your mouth. That is the hard palate. Let's practice saying the following sound. Yeah, in the words yet, 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 yes. You will notice that when we are pronouncing those two words, the body of the tongue touches the hard palate. Then another organ we have is the alveolar ridge. Alveolar ridge. Where is this alveolar ridge found? It is between the top front teeth, and the hard palate. We have already identified the hard palate, the roof of the mouth. Now, there's a ridge there that is at the front of the teeth. It is called so because it is covered with little ridges. If, for example, we try pronouncing the two sounds, t, t, as in the word toy, toy, toy. Notice where your tongue touches. And the word dog, dog, dog. Please say the words with me so that you can be able to identify these organs. There's a little exercise here where we try practicing the two sounds so that we can be able to identify the alveolar ridge. For the first sound, t, we have the words 10, till, today. You look at the initial sounds. The second sound is d, and we have words like den, do, dance. Where the tip of your tongue touches is the alveolar ridge. Then another organ of speech is the teeth. Did you know that your teeth are involved in the production of sounds? Yes, they are. They are just not used for eating. They are also used in sound production. Now, we find that when articulating certain speech sounds, the tongue comes into contact with the upper side teeth. Take your tongue, let it touch the upper side of the teeth. As in the sounds that are shown, say the following sounds and see how your teeth are involved in the articulation. Number one, we have thigh. Thigh. Your tongue is in contact with your teeth. This. Think. The other one is these. Those. Thigh. Again, you notice that the initial sounds of those words, the tongue touches the upper side of the teeth. Therefore, without the teeth, we will not be able to pronounce those words. Then the other organ that is involved in the production of speech sounds are the lips. We can press our lips together to produce certain sounds. For example, when we look at the sounds b, p, b, p, look at the following words. For p, we have pot, put. The initial sound of each of the words, when articulated, the lips come together. Let's try again together. Pot, put. Then we have the next set of sounds, that is b. Let's say the following words. But, but, bot, bull, but, bot, bull. The initial sound in each of these words is articulated by the lips being pressed together. Now, it's not just the lips coming together to produce sounds, but we also have the teeth coming in contact with the lips. The teeth coming in contact with the lips, and certain sounds are produced, such as for example, let's look at the following words. As we say the words, we pay special attention to the initial sounds. As in the words five, fight, fight. Full. The sound is produced when the lips comes in contact with the teeth. We also have the second set, vein, vote, veil. I hope you noticed when you looked at me that the lips and the teeth are actively involved in the production of those sounds. Now let's look at types of articulators. And it's important to remind ourselves what are articulators. Articulators are vocal organs of speech that are used in the production of speech sounds. And they can be categorized into two. Namely, we have the lower articulators that are also called active articulators. And two, we have upper articulators, also referred to as passive articulators. What is the difference between these two types of articulators? The lower articulators, or actually active articulators, are the articulators that move in the process of articulating speech sounds. They are mobile. When we articulate sounds, they move, they are mobile. That's why they are called active. These include the lower lip. The lower lip moves, the lower front teeth, and the tongue. So the three articulators, the lower lip, the lower front teeth, and the tongue, are mobile. They move when we are articulating speech sounds. And the tongue has got different parts, which we shall look at later when we come to vowel production, where we talk about the apex of the tongue or the tip of the tongue. We talk about the tip of the tongue is the front part of the tongue. We have the blades, the sides is the blade, and the other is the body of the tongue. So those are the active articulators. Now we also have the upper or the passive articulators. They are called passive because they don't move. When sounds are being produced, they include the upper lip, the upper teeth, the alveolar ridge, the hard palate, the vellum, and the uvula. We come to the end of our first lecture. And please, as we move forward, ensure you know what articulation of sounds is, what articulators are, and how these articulators are categorized. And as we move forward, as you try to articulate the sounds, observe the articulators being used. Are they mobile or immobile? I hope you have enjoyed our first lecture.
These televised lectures supplement our robust online learning going on our MKU online platform. You can view more on our televised lectures via our online platform. We are in a digital era, and Mount Kenya University knows this. The following are the steps to follow so as to complete your online application. Download the application form from the website www.mku.ac.ke. Attach copies of your academic certificates and ID. Pay the application fees via M-Pesa pay bill number 270988. Your ID is the account number. 2,000 shillings is the charge for a postgraduate. You can also deposit in the bank accounts provided on the website. Then email all the above to apply@mku.ac.ke.